A comment from John Audio Tech got me looking at what's called a hard start kit made for air conditioners. And he says he actually got one to work on his pool pump to start his pool pump motor. Even though the starter circuit he physically had removed it. I can't get to my starter circuit. I do see two wires in here. I'm tempted to cut. Do a little, maybe that'll be my approach, the last gas. Because otherwise I can't get into this thing. I got to remove this pump in order to get this shaft to slip out of this other bearing. Even if I did get this cap loose, which is going to be a job and a half in itself, I'm not going to bother getting both caps loose, of course. I'd like to be able to slip it out. I got to get this pump off. So I figured, well, before I go too much further on this, which if I made a right tool for this, I could probably get this end off. But I almost have to make a tool to straighten those out. At any rate, that's not my expertise, and I'd have to harden it properly to make it work. For removing this pump, I think if I had the right size spanner, which I don't, something like this but smaller, and if I could get around this spring somehow, I could lock it from here, and then there's a straight blade all the way across the back, and I wouldn't even know if I need to go clockwise or counterclockwise because of the rotation. I did try torquing on it a little bit, but I couldn't get anything to budge. Ugh. And at this point, with the pump ripped apart, chances of getting everything back together, not having leaks, so is, you know, it's tipping the balances further and further to just buying a new motor. Not that I got $300 to throw away, but it's probably what's going to happen here. Besides the hard start kits would cost me about $50 from what I saw. Didn't really shop them. There's also 2-wire hard start kits and 3-wire hard start kits, hard starred. And the difference is the 3-wire kit uses a relay, I guess. It needs 3 connections to the circuit, obviously. The 2-wire circuit uses a thermistor. And the problem with the 2-wire circuit is that there is a little bit of reset time needed. You can't switch it on and off real quick and back on again. So I thought I'd make a tool. I talked myself out of it, and then I said, yeah, let's try it. What the heck? I'd kind of like to fix this and not put $300 in this hot tub because, frankly, I'd like to upgrade eventually down the road here in the not too distant future. If I don't upgrade this hot tub to a new hot tub, I'm going to have to do further work on it. The cabinet on the shade side is rotting. I'm going to have to eventually have the cabinet pulled out of there anyway, just to repair it, you know, even if I put it back in. And I'm going to need helpers to do that. It's a real issue. Yeah, I have to say my tool worked out pretty well. Made like a little hook. I was cursing the screwdriver because the blade is kind of rounded off and it's always slipping. Good one to sacrifice. Wow, it worked out really well. Gets right in here, and I did drill these out with a small, tiny drill bit just to weaken them so I'd be able to undent them a little easier. And then I still couldn't undent them until I made myself a tool. I keep thinking in the back of my head, AVE wouldn't cop out on something like that. He'd make a frickin' tool. I've got no excuse. Beauty. This worked out pretty well. This one's a little bit bad, but oh, there it goes. Dang. Dang. I should have thought of that a while ago. Perfect. It's right in this curved slat. On the one side I'm curved. Fit in there. And I'm flat and slightly angled. Perfect. Even with straightening the crimps out, it still doesn't budge. It may also be glued, but I have to free up the bearing too. I was hoping to get just a little bit of movement on this back plate, but no go. A little bit of movement where I could see the wiring in here, where it goes to what. Because I got these 3 colors coming in, these 3 Euro colors going in, but in this inside I've got a module with an orange wire and a light blue wire. It looks like the black tags it too. That's probably going to the capacitor. This may have some kind of solid state starter or something in there, I don't know. I'm really tempted to lobotomize it, just snip that orange wire maybe. And but then still I gotta go spend 50 bucks on a kit that I'm not sure will work. And I'm not sure the pump won't leak at this point after all my fussing around. Yeah, at least I know where I am. Very tempting to reach in there and just snip, and then put an external start kit on it. The hard start kit actually, some people say it charges the capacitor and discharges it, to help the thing go. It doesn't really work quite that way. It's AC, you got to remember, so it doesn't really have a charge that you can store in a cap for later use. It's all a matter of adjusting the power factor during that moment of when the rotor is not moving. Locked rotor, they call it, I guess. Locked rotor or stationary rotor. The motor will draw a whole lot more current when the rotor's stationary. And a motor that needs a hard start kit will actually draw more than the specified locked rotor current. If a motor draws more than the specified rotor current, then there's a condition that definitely needs a hard start kit. That's what I learned. But that's something where you look up yourself if you need that information. I don't know if I'm going to do that experiment on this guy. It's just too crusty. There's too many ifs now to spend more money onto this motor, I think. We'll see what happens when I go shopping. My pump here does seem to have unusually big inlets for the low horsepower. I thought this was only a 1 horsepower pump. Could be mistaken. It's not clearly identified really in the labels and stickers. There's no amperage spec or anything else there. It's pretty vague stuff. Well, I got a picture that I'll flash in.